Welcome to this free immigration help channel. In this video I'm going to show you how to apply for a replacement of your green card, permanent residence card. Basically, if it was lost, stolen, damaged, or really anything that happened to it and you want to apply for a new one, or maybe it's just getting to the expiration date and now it's time to file for a new one, this is how you do it. So in front of me, as you guys can see, I have the official US Citizenship and Immigration Services website open. It's USCIS.gov. You can see the web address over here at the top. This is the official Immigration Services website. All the information that I provide in this video, in all my other videos, is only from this website and nothing else. So this is very simple process overall. You normally don't really need to use an immigration attorney or really any kind of help because it's pretty straightforward. So we're going to start. We're going to go into Forms, and then we're going to click on All Forms, and this will open up the list of all the immigration related forms. There are a lot of them. We're going to try to find I90. So it should be somewhere. There it is. Here you go. I90 application to replace permanent resident card, green card. So I'm going to open that, and there you go. And you probably notice here, unlike most other forms, this form right here, luckily you can file it online. Yes, and I will highly recommend you file this form online, because when you file the form online, it just saves so much time. Because when you file the paper application, basically you are filling it out, you're putting all the whatever documents that are needed to go with the application in one packet, you're sending it, and obviously it's going to take 3 to 5 days for the mail to get there in the PO box. Then it will take a few days for whoever checks the PO box to take that mail, and then whoever is reviewing that up, it's a process. Okay, so you are delaying your application by at least 1 month if you are not doing it online. So I highly recommend applying online for anything that is available for online, because sometimes some applications, they don't have an option to file online, and some applications, they have certain exclusions where you cannot file it online. So if you are filing it online, it's very straightforward process. All you're doing, you're clicking it on File Online. The portal for U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services will open up. You'll have to register for an online account. If you already have an online account, just log in, and from that online account, there will be a drop-down menu with all of the forms. Just select the I90, start filling it out. Once you're done, it will ask for the payment. Once you pay, as soon as you pay, the form is automatically submitted, and that's it. No, it's not complicated. It's very simple, very easy. So I'm gonna show you with all of the questions of how to fill them out and all of that sort of stuff using the paper application, but it's gonna be the same thing online. So if you're applying online, you will be able to go with this video and fill it out little by little by yourself. So obviously, if you're filing it online, where to file, you don't have to worry about this. But if you are filing by mail, you can find the addresses here. This is the address for all the FedEx, UPS, and DHL, and then basically private couriers. And this is the address. This is a PO box address for US Postal Service, USPS. Now, I do recommend using the USPS, this address. Just a recommendation that I've got way long time ago, and just out of the experience, people having better experience with USPS compared to these guys, although probably it's going to be the same thing. Just make sure if you are sending your application with the couriers, make sure you put this address. If you're sending it with USPS, make sure you send it to this address. Very, very important. Don't confuse them too. All right, now filing fee. That's the important one. It's $455, and it's going to be the same $455 for both online and filing a paper. One thing to keep in mind, you will have to do a biometric service fee of $85. Most likely it's going to be required. Now, I do get a lot of questions about if you're sending a check, do you send a separate check for application and a separate check for the biometric fee? You don't have to do it. You can just add $455 plus $85 to it. It's gonna, my math is not too fantastic, so what is 460 plus 80 is gonna be $540. So you will send one check of $540, and that's completely fine. That works. But again, if you are doing it online, it's much simpler because everything is done for you, everything is calculated for you, and you're paying it with a card. The payment goes right through. That's it. It's just so much simpler. So if you can't file online, do it online. Very, very important. And here you will find all of the different scenarios. For example, as you can see, if, for example, the reason for the application that your previous card was issued and never received, obviously you don't have to pay the fee. It will be zero. Everything is going to be zero. If you destroy your card by mistake, it's going to be 455 plus 85, 540. So you can see all of these different scenarios and how much it's going to cost you. Again, obviously, if you're filing it online, you don't have to worry about any of these calculations. Okay, and the last thing before we get into the main application, I'm going to open up the checklist for all the required evidence. Obviously, not much. It's not that complicated. There's not really a lot of stuff. If your previous card has been lost, stolen, destroyed, a copy of your green card or government issued ID form that contains your name, date. Obviously, if you have a copy of your green card, hopefully you do, that's sufficient. If not, then obviously it's going to be your driver's license, your identification card from DMV, or something like that. Now, if your previous card was issued but never received, obviously you're not going to have your green card, but you're going to have your driver's license and all sort of stuff. So again, all these different scenarios, go through them here. Okay, now let's get into the forms themselves. This is the form I90, and this is going to be very similar to what you're going to be filling out online. Same questions, same thing, you're going to be filling it out. Not going to be any different. I'm going to close this because we're not going to do any logging into the online portal. And I will also open the instructions. Now, I highly recommend, before filling it out, your form, before filling it out, before filing it, go through the instructions. Just open this up, PDF, in fact, I will put this link in the description below, so you can just open it up from this video, and you can go through it. You should go through it and just read everything, just to be on the safe side. And as you are filling this form out online, I recommend having these instructions open, because you can always refer, for example, this question here, you can always refer to, let's see, item number 9, what does it mean? Date of birth, what does it mean? This is a basic, stupid example, but provide the date on which you were born. Okay, so each individually is explained. Each item is individually explained. Okay, so let's start now with our application form. So at first, obviously, it's going to be very basic. It's going to be some identifying information. Your alien registration number, most likely you have that. If you have a green card, you have your alien registration number, because it does appear on your green card. So you're putting that here, where the A is. Now, USCIS online account number, that is, sometimes I have seen in my experience, some people, when they register for the online account, they do receive an email with their USCIS online account number. Now, some people, they don't. So if you don't have it, that's fine. You can keep it open. As you can see, it says if any. If you do have it, you fill it out. Obviously, your basic information, your name, all of the stuff, right? Has your name legally changed? If it is, then you're putting your new name. Sometimes happens, people change their names. If you were married or something like that. Mailing address, obviously, or all your mailing address, your physical address. Now, the difference between mailing address and physical address: mailing address is where you are receiving your mail. Physical address is where you actually live. Okay, sometimes it's different. Now, you're gonna put your identifying information still, gender, which is sex, not gender, but whatever. Date of birth, city, town, where you were born, country of birth, mother's name, father's name, class of admission. Now, class of admission is going to be how were you admitted in the United States of America. So, for example, if you came to the United States of America as a B1, B2 travel visitor, right, for pleasure, for business, this is going to be here is going to be your B1 B2. That's going to be your class of admission. Date of admission, that's where you enter the port of entry. US Social Security number, if you have that, fill it out. If you don't, that's fine. Now, application type. Okay, so this is going to be an important part here. Basically, this is if your conditional permanent resident status, for example, CR1, CR2, CF1, CF2 is expiring within the next 90 days, then do not file this application. Okay, this is very, very rare cases. Most of the times you're not one of those. You're not a conditional permanent resident. This is normally for permanent residents, normal permanent residents. So my status is, so most likely you're going to be lawful permanent resident. All right, this is going to be most of the cases. Permanent residents in commuter status, again, very rare cases, but if you are, you know that you are, and that's what you will select to. You're going to have to proceed to Section A, and then if you're conditional permanent resident, just proceed to Section B. Okay, moving on. Now we have to be used only by a lawful permanent resident. So most likely you are a lawful permanent resident, and this is basically where you will explain why you're filing this application. So here are the some of the options, right? My previous card has been lost, stolen, or destroyed. My previous card was issued but never received. My existing card has been mutilated. My existing card has incorrect data. My name or other biometric information has been legally changed. My existing card has already expired or will expire within 6 months. Okay, so for this example, let's do it was lost or stolen. Although probably most of the times people who are filing this application, they're probably going to be just, my existing card has already expired or will expire soon, so I'm updating it. Now, as you can see in the paper application, you can't really select it here. So if you are filing a paper application, you will have to print it out and then check mark it yourself. Some of the things you can't do it on the computer, but everything you can do on the computer, if you are filing a paper application, do it. And then you print it out and then go through it again and mark whatever needs to be marked. Okay, so moving on, we got our application type. Basically, it's a continuation to be used by a conditional permanent resident. This only for the conditional permanent resident. Doesn't apply in our case. But if it is, here you go. You can select it here. Processing information. Location where you applied for an immigrant visa or adjustment of status. So it's going to be city, state. Location where your immigrant visa was issued. Again, city, state. Destination in the United States at time of admission. Port of entry where admitted to the United States, city, town, and state. So for example, let's say, for example, New York. If you flew into New York, it's going to be New York and state NY, right? Let's say if you are like flying into JFK, for example, airport. Have you ever been in exclusion, deportation, or removal proceedings? Hopefully no. Since you were granted permanent residence, have you ever filed Form I-407? That's an abandonment by alien of status, so hopefully not. Moving on, this is your basic identifying information: ethnicity, race, height, weight, eye color, hair color, all that sort of stuff. Are you requesting an accommodation because of your disabilities? No. If yes, then you select which disability you have. Applicant statement is that I can read, understand English, blah blah blah. If you can't, if you have an interpreter, or if somebody prepared this form for you, you will select one of these and put their name in there, and then that they will sign it. Your contact information, your signature, date, and that's really it. And obviously if you had the interpreter or preparer, they will fill out their information here. And this is it, guys. As you can see, it's very, very simple. Now, one thing that I wanted to mention, if you do, for whatever reason, you do want to file a paper application and don't do it online, I don't recommend doing it on the paper. I recommend doing it online just because it saves time. It prevents a lot of mistakes. It's just much easier. But if you do decide to file it paper, make sure, very important, I say it in every video and every application video, make sure not to leave any blank spaces like this. For example, let's say you're filling it out, okay? So your mailing address, in care of your John Doe, right? Then that's you. And your street address is 12 Street, oops, something happened, 123 Street. I don't know why it keeps dropping it down for whatever reason. Doesn't like it. Street, right? Apartment one, you can fill it out apartment, so you'll have to print it out and then fill it out. So city, let's say New York, city, state, whatever, New York, right? Just random stuff. Zip code 11 whatever, right? But there is no province. Don't leave it blank, put not applicable. Okay, same thing everywhere else. You have your family name, Doe. You have your given name, John, but you have no middle name. Don't leave it blank, put not applicable. Okay, very, very important. Don't leave any blank spaces in these fields. Put either not applicable or none, just to make sure that nothing left blank, because I've seen so many times these applications are sent back just because there's blank spaces, and basically it's not a denial, it's not anything bad. Basically immigration just tells you, hey, fill out the blank spaces with not applicable or none, and then send it back. So at the end of the day, it's not a big deal, but you're losing time. You're really, really losing a lot of time, because you send it, they review it, they send it back, you fix it, then you send it back again. You just waste so much time, unnecessary time. And that's really it. That's it. It's very simple. Like I said, you don't really need an immigration attorney for this one. It's very straightforward. It's even easier when you do it online. So hopefully this video was helpful to you guys. If it was, let me know in the comments below if you have any questions. If it was helpful, please consider subscribing. It's still, as you can see, a growing channel. And if you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments below, and I try to go through all of them and try to answer as much as possible. And sometimes I make videos specifically about the comments, just answering the questions. Sometimes I go live and answer those questions live. So again, if you subscribe, it might be helpful for you guys to learn further if you're in immigration process at the moment. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.